13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I didn't realize the song took so long to get started.
This is the Imagine Dragons song?
This is Imagine Dragons Battle Cry, which is the theme to our movie of the week, Transformers Age of Extinction. But welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea, episode 122.
Bro, 122? That's a big number.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, Jason, say hello to your mother for me.
I will. Thanks, Ed. I will. Hey, Ed, say hello to your mother for me.
God, you got it, man. Thanks. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the brand new episode, another Friday, Summer Friday edition of Granny's Peach Tea. Yeah, we got some stuff to get to. We had a lot of stuff to get to, actually. A pretty packed episode. Last weekend being San Diego Comic-Con, so they dropped a new episode out of nowhere of Invincible called Adam Eve. So that actually focuses on the character of Adam Eve, and we got a little prequel story for her. We got Harley Quinn is back, season 4.
That's
episodes
right,
1 through 3. Yeah, the insanity of Harley Quinn is returned.
Man, did they bring it, man. I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we got these series finale or season finale. We'll see what happens. For Secret Invasion, so a lot to talk about there since it seems to be a lot of buzz one way or the other about that. And as we've been doing our dip into the Michael Bay era of live-action Transformers, we're up to the 4th one. We're up to Transformers Age of Extinction. And yes, Jason and I we're doing it. We're going to do this, man. We're in this together.
I'm powering through, but I got to say this. At this point, like, Kal-El didn't show up for me this week because there was no My Adventures with Superman. This shit's so bad. I renounce my faith of the Red Sun. No longer. I'm back to being an atheist, guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. Because you know who's not saving me from this Bayformer run? Fucking Superman.
Well, listen, part of the song Battle Cry, no one's going to save you now, and I guess no one is saving us either.
I guess. So, you know what? I renounce it. All the money you guys sent for the Church of the Red Sun, I'm keeping it.
So, yeah, we got a lot to uncover. But, yeah, thanks for joining us. If you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, or if you're joining us on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram or wherever you found your audio-only podcast, we always appreciate the support. And with me, as always, is Jason. Jason, what's up? Besides Transformers Age of Extinction, how was your week? What's going on?
No, good week so far. Family's been back, and I started this new tradition with my son, which is comic book-esque related, so I can share it here. So now I pick him up from daycare at noon, and then he comes home and he takes his nap. But he's been really liking to play video games with me, right? Which, of course, I love, because I have no video game. I have almost no video game friends. I have one or two. But he's been really liking Injustice 2. And because he likes to pick at the characters, right? So pretty much I just set it where it's practice and there's no AI, so he can just play around with the buttons. So his new thing is he loves Cheetah, because Cheetah's in the game.
Okay.
And he loves to do the Cheetah's move, which he calls the back scratch, because ultimately she scratches the hell out of you, and then at the end lands on your back and you hear this crack. Okay. So he calls it the back scratch. So for 15 minutes before his nap a day, it's like today he's like, Daddy, I want to back scratch Batman. So I got to set that up. Daddy, okay, I'm done. I want to back scratch Joker now.
God.
Yeah.
Wants to take down all your favorite characters.
He does. And Batman's his second. That's crazy. But it's super cute. And he's obsessed with this other character who I've never even heard of called Atrocitus. Do you know this character? I think he's a Green Lantern villain.
No, I cannot say that I'm familiar with him.
I'm sure he's a Green Lantern villain because he's red and he's got the Red Lantern insignia, and I know red is their like weak color and stuff. But
Yeah.
I have like he's the only character in this game, any of these games. I'm like never heard of this guy, but that's my son's new favorite, Cheetah and Atrocitus, which he calls Big Red guy.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not
wrong.
Calling it like he sees it.
Yeah.
So that's my uplifting story to get us away from the Bayformers.
Hey, listen,
agony.
We're almost there, man. Listen. Just remember when we started this thing, we did say we were going to do the good and the bad, and this is what it is.
But I have to admit, when we started this and said that, I didn't realize we would be able to cover Transformers. Like, I didn't think it would get like. This is the worst stuff I've ever seen. Period. Not just for the show. Period. This is the worst stuff I've ever seen.
That is a bold statement, Jason. That is bold.
And because you know how much garbage I ingest when it comes to media.
No, I watch some shit too, but yeah, you're right. I think the key with that is when the garbage turns comedic, and you find the level of entertainment value there, that's when you can get through it. When it's not funny, and it's 2 hours and 47 minutes. And run times keep going up and up and up through a franchise. Yeah. I think that's the killer. If these movies are like under 2 hours, I think they would be a little bit easier to take.
Look, if these were an hour and a half, and you made them as cartoonish as possible, really like get rid of this fucking Michael Bay apocalypse grid on your screen. Like, what is this? Who's coming to a Transformers movie? This was a children's cartoon.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Well, whatever. Let's table that quick.
All right.
We will go ahead and make sure even though Jason has, done away with Kal-El, you can still send us some stars for the digital gift to help support the podcast and support Pop Culture Pros. I like that, by the way. That's pretty cool.
This is my son's. He got it in a Happy Meal. Took him to McDonald's yesterday. This is what the Happy Meal toys are making a comeback, man.
Was that for like a tie-in with Secret Invasion, or is that?
No, that's the Marvels.
Oh wow, they're not wasting any time. Okay,
they're not. No,
nice.
They're already the Marvels. So Nick Fury, even though Kal-El's not around, Nick Fury says, "Give, fools." Even when I'm out, I'm in.
Give, motherfuckers.
You give us stars, motherfucker.
But also, Tim is actually saying, good to see you guys made it through the latest horrendous Transformers movie.
Oh, God, it wasn't easy, man.
Yeah, we'll save the details of that, though. Yeah, we'll save the details for that for later. But yes, we're still alive and kicking, and we got one more to go this week that neither one of us have seen, so we will get into that then. But let's jump into our shows of the week that we got on hand here. Jason does not have any adventures with Superman this week.
No, he abandoned me.
He did. He took off, didn't tell us in advance, so shame on him. But, though, Amazon Prime did drop a special episode of Invincible titled Adam Eve. Does give us an origin story of the character Adam Eve, which we haven't really got. She's just kind of there and, obviously, one of the top characters that we get. And it also leads me to wonder, like, are we going to get these things for certain characters? Was it just Adam Eve, or are we going to get like an Omni-Man origin, or do we know enough about Omni-Man at this point? I don't know. It just kind of opens up the doors. Made me start thinking after I watched it earlier today.
I'll tell you something though. I'm here for it. Like if they start giving us origins, I wouldn't even mind an origin of like the team.
Yeah.
It was actually really nice to see that team do something besides get brutally and bloodily murdered by Omni-Man, which is the only thing we've seen them do thus far. So yeah, I think I kind of dug this more than I dug the main Invincible like show that we covered.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, yeah, I know you weren't like in love with Invincible. I think it was like you were kind of very lukewarm on it.
Yeah, like I hated the first episode. Which you can go back and look at I forget. Well, I think it was just the bloody violence, and then it started to grow on me. And by the end of it, I was like, yeah, I like this, but I didn't love it.
Okay.
This I loved. This I thought was like, and maybe it's because it was a self-contained story, and because I've already dipped my toe into this world, so maybe that's, I kind of knew what to expect. Whereas when I first sat down to watch this, I didn't know what to expect, but I really did. I really dug this. I thought it was a cool origin story for this character.
Yeah, and for those who might be a little bit unfamiliar with Invincible, it's pretty much a show on Amazon Prime Video that is based on the Robert Kirkman comic book. Also, Robert Kirkman he wrote this episode as well. I'm not sure if he writes every single episode, but he is heavily involved with the series as well. But yeah, so we get, like you had mentioned, the Guardians of the Globe. We get them alive and in this whole battle, because this is a prequel episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually get to see them in action fighting alongside Omni-Man, because we didn't see that.
Yeah, and they actually said something that's super interesting, which I didn't know if this was dropped in the original, but they say, well, call him, he's a reserve. Well, no, he'll get offended if you call him reserve. And I forget who says it, but she's like, we invited him to be on the team, and he said no, but he'll help out. How could he be offended? So I just thought it's interesting knowing what we know about Omni-Man and where that real business relationship ends. I think it's interesting that he wouldn't commit, right? I think that says something about his character, because wouldn't it have been easier if he said, yeah, I'm part of the team, and then kills them when he needs to? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it gives a little flavor and a little shadow into the character of Omni-Man that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I like that. But we also find out that Sam Wilkins she was born pretty much of a homeless woman. Her mother's a homeless woman who volunteers for a science experiment for money, because, again, she's homeless, and the government was going ahead and experimenting and trying to create superheroes. So not like the boys. Well, I guess sort of like the boys.
I got boys vibes.
Yeah. So that's basically, but they do it since birth. So it's not like, they're, with the boys, it's usually with V, they go ahead and inject them with that. This seems to be slightly different, but you're right. In the end, I guess it's the same concept. But pretty messed up that she finds out about that. And there's also that a series where the government was experimenting over and over and over, and they had a doctor who got it right with Adam Eve, and then kept going without him. And yeah, it turned into like there was a bunch of failed projects who were kind of like mutated and things like that and disfigured and stuff, and like it's pretty messed up what with the situation they're found in.
Yeah, and so also the doctor, like, that got it right. The reason he's not around, the reason Adam Eve isn't around, is because he kind of grows a conscience and wants to save the child, and so he brings the mother to a hospital and fakes the kid's death and literally switches her with a kid who died.
Yeah, and
so even the parents don't know that that's not their child. And then he goes to prison and does his fucking time like a stand-up guy he is. And then, like, if we pick up with him trying to get in touch with Adam Eve now as she's like in high school or starting to use her powers, because he's worried. He's like, look, don't use them. They'll know it's you. They'll come for you. And I really like that dynamic, that relationship they have.
I got very Obi-Wan Kenobi vibes from this. Why he's just kind of like lurking around, and if you don't know what's going on, it looks very creepy that he's some older dude is kind of keeps following this teenage girl around and stuff, and you're like, okay, buddy, like, and they allude to that a little bit. They acknowledge that it's weird, but knowing the full picture, then you understand why it's happening.
Right.
Yeah. So the parents you had mentioned, the adoptive parents put her into a school because she's extremely smart. She can see the atoms and like get in touch with them and feel them and change them and all this other stuff. So she's kind of like obsessed with it. And they think she's a freak and stuff, and they put her in a specialized school. But her thing is she only wants science. Like, she doesn't give a shit about anything else, like, because of her connection with the atoms. So I thought that was actually really interesting too.
I love that. And I think it's heartbreaking, like the scene with her friend.
Yeah.
Right, where she opens up for the first time to someone and it freaks her out, and the girl just stops being friends with her. That felt real to me.
Yeah,
I thought it was heartbreaking too, because the parents are fucking shitty. That father, man, I want to smack him in the head.
Yeah, she should have like turned his head into like Jello or something. But she's a hero and wouldn't do something like that.
Right, exactly. But like he's like abusive. But so it's heartbreaking like to see her not being able to fit in because she doesn't fit in, right? She was sort of switched there. So I thought that metaphor of, and then also too, that's how you feel as a teenager, right? Like coming into the world and coming in your own, and you don't really jive with your family anymore, and you don't know what's what. And I thought this was a nice symbolic way of exploring that with powers.
Great. So yeah, she goes ahead and she uses her ability. She starts getting a handle on it and decides to fight crime. And her first thing is she tries to stop these douchebags from going ahead and like they were going to kidnap these dogs from a shelter and to sell them. And pretty much, ends up, that's where the doctor runs into her and sees that, you shouldn't be using your powers and stuff like that. But she goes ahead and foils that whole thing. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And then the government does track her down, or the doctors track her down, and they send her brothers, the other, failed experiments, after, and they have this huge all-out battle on this bridge, and it was wild. Like they're just like using their abilities and stuff, and
that's a good battle.
The whole thing, and the context of the battle, I found very interesting because they're like, hey, the one guy who can talk, because the other ones can't even talk, is, hey, we're like this one whole big old happy family, and you're a part of us and stuff like that. And they resent her like, hey, you were the perfect one, and this is what we ended up with. And I thought that was actually kind of heartbreaking too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the siblings, and because that's the thing is, you empathize with them. They're like monsters. Like like they literally can't be out of their like liquid casing for more than a couple of hours, right, at a spot. And just the fact that they're like, you were the perfect one. You were the one that got, to be normal. And then we're just the ones that came after. Yeah, that was heartbreaking because we're kind of symbolically touching on like, abused children and the relationship that siblings have growing up in abused households and stuff like that. I mean, this show is doing some heavy lifting I didn't expect from an Invincible show.
Yeah, I agree. So the twist though after that battle is she goes back to to kind of take down who's doing this whole thing. She finds out her mother is still alive.
Yeah. And
I guess they were using her to birth all these other experiments moving forward, and that was pretty fucked up. And she loses her shit then on this doctor and this other like military dude that are there. And all of this is happening on her birthday as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just Jesus, man. Like you really feel bad for her. It just keeps piling on one thing after another. So she goes at it and takes them down, and that's kind of where it leaves off. I mean, she sees the doctor as her father figure then, and she goes back to her house and she changes, the picture of her and her adoptive family to her brothers and the doctor and her mother there, which was. It was heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, especially when she comes home and like the parents are being shitty to her for being late for her birthday, and like didn't the father eat part of the cake without her? It's like,
yeah, what the fuck? Who does that?
Seriously. So yeah, I'd fucking wish I had my beat up, siblings and my vegetative state mother and this crazy doctor father. They were a much better family than this douchebag she's saddled with.
Yeah. So that kind of gives us the origin of Adam Eve. But there is a mid-credit scene that pops in. That's there. Oh, let's see. Did you do it?
I think I missed it.
Damn it.
What was it?
So the mid-credit scene, it pretty much big words pop up and it says, "Where was Mark Racing during all of this?" And ... And then it shows Mark Racing as a kid who was invincible, and comes running down the stairs with a bunch of duct tape, and he tells Omni-Man and his mother.
Yeah, I did see that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I did see that. Yeah, that was awesome.
He's like, I'm going to be duct tape man, and his father, And at that time, nobody knows that Omni-Man's a fucking psychopath,
right?
Alien who wants to conquer the Earth, and he wants his son to help him conquer the Earth, and he's just like, that's not going to work, really, ha ha ha. But then the expression on his face.
Yeah.
When he's just like, is this kid ever going to develop powers? Because we know that his whole thing is, let's go, kid. Get the
Yeah.
fucking powers so we can go ahead and do this thing already. He's just
And-
frustrated with him.
Yes, no, exactly. And I think it also does add to our conversation we had during the actual run of Invincible. Would Omni-Man have been okay if he never had powers and Omni-Man just kind of got to stay there? Like, does
Yeah.
Omni-Man really want to conquer the Earth, or does he just feel he has to because that's what he was sent there to do by his people?
No, I agree. That's why I'm wondering if they're ever going to dig deeper into Omni-Man specifically.
I hope so. I hope we get like an origin story of when he first comes to Earth or something like that, and to see his inner struggle, because they've obviously set it up by the fact of how it ended. The season ended last season, and just the character. He's a conflicted character, and I would like to see that play out. I'd like to see that conflict form. What makes him fall in love with humanity and this planet? What makes him not want to conquer us?
Yeah. Agreed. I don't know. I just wonder if we're gonna get more of these. Maybe in between seasons, we get like maybe one off, on other characters that are that are in there. So
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But overall, pretty cool thing. If you enjoyed season 1, I think we would both recommend check out Adam Eve. It's not like it's a side episode, but it's interesting though.
Yeah, and if you've never seen Invincible and you're curious about this, you don't have to have seen Invincible to get this.
No, you can check this out on your own and then see. And if you want more, if you would like to know more, you can go ahead and go watch season 1 of Invincible, because season 2 drops in November.
Hey.
So we're waiting a little while for that.
Oh, okay, so it's coming.
Yeah, no, it is. I think it's November 3rd or something like that. They announced that was part of. There's a trailer that follows the episode that says that. Your video's out right now, Jason. You may have lost Jason. Oh, there he's back. There he goes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having a bit of internet issues.
That's all right. All right, cool. So that's it for that. Also, Harley Quinn, another show that we cover that's
right.
Back. Season 4. They hit us with 3 episodes, like at one
Oh,
shot.
thank you.
Jason, what do we got?
You know how excited I was.
No,
Normally,
sure
Ed, when you tell me we have 3 episodes that's dropping right away, I go, oh God, when am I going to find the time? When you told me that there were 3 episodes of this, I was like, yes, I'm watching them all in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a welcome return thing. Plus, I guess sort of balancing out Bayformers. We got some fun here with Harley Quinn.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not gonna it's 3 episodes. I'm not gonna dissect them, each of them. I figure I'll just go by character, like what's going on with each of the mains. So ultimately, this is an exploration of how Harley is fitting in her new role in the Bat family, how Poison Ivy is fitting in her new role as CEO of the Legion of Doom, and how their roles, like as lovers, is being affected by their professional lives, because now they're on opposite sides, right? And we see Harley kind of try to use sex to get information from Ivy, which I thought was hysterical. And stuff like that. So, Harley not fitting in so well to the Bat family, mostly because she murders Professor Pig.
Yeah, in the first episode, I thought that was interesting. Well, she literally saves Nightwing's ass.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Literally saves his ass.
That whole thing about like Nightwing's in the top 10 sexiest, whatever, and it's his ass, and she's like, you gotta get a who's your publicist? Is it the same publicist as Wonder Woman? I mean, you got a really nice ass.
Which, for those who might not be maybe unfamiliar, in the comic books, there's a whole thing with Dick Grayson's ass and stuff like that. It seems to be like a thing that caught on and stuff like that. So whatever. This show is smart, because you can tell that they're fans of the comics, and they will like crack jokes, and they know what they're doing. But they do it in such an insane funny way.
It's brilliant. So the whole plot is, and so Harley figures this out. There's a serial killer killing people, and Harley puts it together that it's all the people on the top 10 sexiest Gothamites list, and it's specifically like what their best quality is. And she remembers having a discussion with Professor Pig at the magazine stand about this, and puts it together that, oh, he's the one. He's slicing them up. And the only way we can get him out in the open is to do a nude photo shoot with Dick Grayson and live stream it. And her just like, give me sexy, give me pouty schoolboy. It was brilliant. And so then she ingratiates herself into the Bat family, but then brutally murders him in front of them.
Yeah. Because for those who might have not seen season 3, at the end of it, Bruce goes to jail. Bruce Wayne gets locked up, which puts Batman out of the picture, and he chooses Harley Quinn as kind of like his sub, until he's done. So that alone is completely insane. But
yeah,
it fits in with this show, and like her dynamic, and she in the first episode especially, she wants to go ahead and like just thinks this is bashing skulls and going around and beating up criminals, and they're like, no, we got to work out, we got to get fit, we got to go ahead and do paperwork and spreadsheets. Like
that's right. We're heroes. We do spreadsheets.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty damn funny.
Yeah, that was great. So then Harley then tries to ingratiate herself more with them into the Bat family. She is told that she has to ride shotgun with Alfred, and Alfred is training her, and very funny stuff. Like him using the broom to like kind of kick her ass in the kitchen was brilliant. And then they become friends, and so Alfred's thing is Bruce Wayne has another butler and won't see him in prison. So Alfred decides to both help Harley Quinn get into the Bat family proper and reunite himself with Bruce Wayne by robbing a bank and getting caught by Harley Quinn.
Which totally backfires because he ends up in a lower level prison.
He ends up at Arkham, right? There's a joke like, what, I'm not at Blackgate? No. The rich go to Blackgate. The rest of us go to Arkham.
I can't wait to see I can't wait to see more of Arkham Asylum, because they're going to go ahead and dive into that without.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun. Yeah, they're really going to have fun with that. And so then Harley at the end of the third episode, the third episode's all about her and Ivy going to like an evil resort, and she takes on this persona so she can sort of fit in with Harley and not be caught and still do bad things, but still be in the Bat family. But at the end of that, she decides that's too confusing. She needs to kind of really immerse herself and she says it, I need the hero stuff to be second nature, and I have to immerse myself in it until that's it. And I'm badly paraphrasing, but then she moves in with them. And that's kind of Harley's arc over the 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then Ivy's arc mirrors that, because she's now in charge of the Legion of Doom, and everyone on the Legion of Doom are fucking gross internet trolls who live in their mother's basement and hate women. And they're just like giving her shit, and they're being assholes. Who's the guy who's doing the coke? I didn't recognize him.
So I think that's supposed to be White Dragon.
Okay.
Who was Peacemaker's dad in Peacemaker. That's what I believe that's supposed to be.
Okay, that's hysterical. So it's Gorilla Grodd, White Dragon, Captain
everyone.
Cold.
There's a lot
everyone.
Of people. Bane, of course, is back again. Not humping buildings this time.
And so Ivy's journey is, she decides that she says, okay, I'm going to just give them all what they want, right? And I'll make them see that I'm the best boss. And and she just gives them all carte blanche to do what they want. But then that means Bane bombs an oil bomber and floods the ocean with oil. And Ivy's whole thing is she wants to have eco-friendly terrorism. Like, all the evil plots have to be eco-friendly now. So that happens. She gets pissed off. teams up with Nora Freeze, who comes back because there's the female executive bathroom, which all the men use as the deucing bathroom. And Nora Freeze, who comes to pick up her widow, like, social security checks for the Legion of Doom. And she uses the executive bathroom, and she's a Spitfire. So Ivy hires her, and they take on the Legion of Doom, and Ivy kicks the shit out of them.
Oh, she sure does.
Like, Gorilla Grodd's like, "What, you think you're gonna do anything to me?" And she just keeps slamming the whole table into the ceiling, to the point that when Bane walks in late, everyone's like, "No, no, no!" And Bane's like, "Hello, it's me. I'm late." And she's like, "Oh yeah," and then she kicks his ass. Like, and by the end of that, they're all her bitch.
Yeah, she beats him into submission.
Yeah. So that, I love that. That was a super cool, really fun sort of and prescient like take on like women in the workplace and how toxic masculinity really can affect things like that. So that was really cool. And by the end of her arc, at the end of the Vegas thing, she kind of agrees with Harley. She doesn't, that they do need some time because she's also fitting into her new role.
Yeah, one of my favorite things on a side character was Bane reuniting because he's asked to fix the pasta maker. It even says like, "Pasta maker, we meet again."
Yes.
Which is a running joke in like the last season. That was absolutely hilarious.
Oh, because it was the pasta maker. Like, he gets pissed about the pasta maker. He gives is that at the Ivy or to Ivy for
as a wedding gift.
right? Yeah. that was great.
And then Bane also at one point kind of starts catching the eye of Nora Freeze, and then she shakes the hand of Captain Cold, who's there, and you can tell obviously she's going ahead and go with that, and he, Bane's pissed off about it.
Damn my warm blood. Bane is my MVP, man. He's my favorite of this show, and that says something because I love them all.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely hilarious. Scene stealer, for sure. Clayface was he has a residency in Vegas, and that's why they go there in the third episode, and they can't get tickets to it.
And the whole thing is that he knows they can't get tickets, and he's pissed off at them because he sent Ivy. He's like, "Well, if you would have just responded to any one of the baker's half dozen of texts and emails I sent to you," because he was telling her, "Just respond that you want tickets, and I'll set them aside." And she blew him off, so now he's pissed at her.
Yeah, because they were going there to pretty much mock Clayface and laugh at his stupid show, but then they find out it was uber successful, and apparently it's the hottest thing in Vegas at that time.
Yeah. Which joins in with Killer Shark's arc, because their arcs both literally come to a head at the same time, where Killer Shark's platonic wife who hates him is going to give birth to his children, and he's jumping through hoops. First, in the first episode, he wants someone to throw him a baby shower in the Legion of Doom, and Bane does, which is great. Damn my thoughtfulness! And then it's about getting like this gumbo together to help her give birth, and she's there looking to fuck a magician.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell that came from. That was
so weird.
Out of nowhere.
And then she gets on stage with the magician, and she starts to give birth. And then Ivy and Harley are there, and the team is all together. And then, aha, the magician was I, Clayface. And then him and Ivy get into it.
No, they do, like big time.
Yeah.
And there's like this whole battle that goes on also.
And someone says, "Oh, I love." Because the running gag is that people keep swiping the crab legs at the buffet, and this one guy with a crab leg bib just goes, "Oh." And so at some point the crab legs get swiped, and he yells, "So is there a good guy around these villains? They keep messing with the buffet." And Harley's like, "Well, I gotta go hero." And she essentially stops the fight. And I love that she ties Ivy up, and Ivy's like, I could have gotten out of that any time. And she's like, yeah, I know. I just needed you to calm down. So I thought that dynamic was cool. Like, even when they're kind of at odds, it's still loving.
Yeah. And there's also a thing with Ivy as well, where her thing is she wants to take down Wayne Pharmaceuticals by eliminating all of the allergens that are there. Because she wants, and then Talia al Ghul shows up because apparently she was named as the successor, just in case something were to happen to Bruce with Wayne Enterprises or Wayne Pharmaceuticals. And that whole plan goes batshit crazy. She wants to eliminate all the male trees because apparently they're, jizzing out pollen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
and that's her game plan. But she ends up finding out that Talia, who advised Poison Ivy to go ahead and, about some stuff, that she's running Wayne Enterprises. So that's obviously a huge conflict of interest.
Yeah, that was, I can't believe so much went on. I can't believe I forgot about that. Because you get this really awesome, like, Joker's still the mayor.
Yes. That's still firmly intact.
Which is, I love it. I love good guy Joker as the mayor. But like his whole thing is like, he's like, well, I know the Legion of Doom is here. I'll approve your permits. Just tell me what the twist is. Just let me in. And she doesn't want to let him in on the plot. And I love that she's like, all right, well, I can have all the trees replaced by Wednesday. And I think she was going to give him more. He's like, oh, Wednesday. So the big thing happens Wednesday. Ooh, approved. It's good to be in the know again.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty damn good. A great start, though, I think. It's pretty bad, pretty funny. Picks up right where they left off. Completely insane show.
I'm glad to see that we're in season 4 and it doesn't seem to be running out of steam. Like it, and I think because it can do whatever it wants. It understands the material well enough to really fuck with it. Like, and I think, because anyone watching this would be like, our show, Grannies, would be like, I don't know, Jason, you fucking bitch and moan every time anyone breaks anything in the canon of Batman, but you love this Harley Quinn show, which is out of its mind. And I'm like, and I think the difference is you can do whatever you want with the canon. Just show me that you understand the material before you do it. And they do.
I can agree with that. Plus, again, you got to have some fun with it. I mean, this show sets the tone immediately. This is not going to be a serious show, but it's going to be a smart, funny show. But at the same time, completely insane.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story about, because my wife doesn't watch these things with me and she's not a comic book person, but it was about a year ago. We were letting Finn just sort of pick things on out of the DC thing because when he was into Batman. He picked Harley Quinn. She put it on. It was on for like 6 minutes. She shut it off and she texted me, that Harley Quinn show on HBO, that's not for kids, is it? I'm like, no, don't put that on for Finn.
No, completely not. Completely not the case. So, well, as always, I think we could safely recommend Harley Quinn for anyone who's into Batman or DC and stuff. But yeah, it's a completely off-the-wall show, but it's fun. So
yeah, absolutely.
Have some fun with it.
It's good.
All right, so that brings us to the MCU show and its season finale or series finale. Well, that remains to be seen. Secret Invasion episode 6. So if you have not watched the season finale, series finale of Secret Invasion, come back and check us out another time. Spoiler ticker is across the screen already because we're going to spoil the shit out of it because it only dropped 2 days ago on Disney Plus. Nick Fury's back, and that's it.
We're going to spoil the shit out of this motherfucker.
Overall, this finale did not stick the landing for me.
I agree. I agree. For me, I thought it was too short.
Yep.
And it was way too predictable. Like, I mean, I don't know. Did you for 1 second think that Nick Fury's plan was to go to Gravik and give him this thing? Like, I knew it was Gaia the whole time. Like, literally from the fucking get-go. Because I'm like, Nick Fury is not this stupid.
I actually did not. I'll admit I did not know it was Gaia, but I thought there was going to be something in the harvest that was going to fuck him up or something like that. Like there was going to be some sort of reaction and it was going to kill him or something. That's what I thought was going to happen. But Yeah, Gaia. I mean, it's a short episode. It's the shortest episode of the season, which everyone has been close to an hour. I don't know why the hell.
Yeah.
My issue is creative decisions. I think overall with this finale, for us, a show that we enjoyed the first 5, and then I felt they kind of just shit the bed in the finale. Like that's overall and all weird creative choices.
Yeah, and I think they rushed it. I think the best part for me was just what's the woman's name? The one that I said I think might be the head of Sword.
Sonya.
Sonya, like she for me is the MVP of this episode because my favorite part is literally that like cat and mouse she's playing with Rhodey. Like Fury's on his way, get the president out of there, and you know her plan, you know what she's doing, and then like and that whole standoff with like Rhodey's a Skrull and that I like that. I thought that was that had some tension.
That was good.
But I got to admit though, like that was kind of it for me. Like everything else happened so quickly, and I even think that happened kind of quickly. Like they could have really played with the tension there. Like I don't know. I don't know. I thought it could have been better.
Yeah, I agree. So on like you had mentioned though, the one story arc that goes, call it the A or B, whatever you want to call it. So Fury and Sonya are trying to get to POTUS in this, who's in the hospital from the last episode, who Rhodey is right by. Rhodey, Scrody is trying to, Scrody, we'll specify that he's still a Skrull, is trying to enact Gravik's plan to have the U.S. bomb Russia, start the shit. Also would end up taking out a bunch of Skrulls or the people underneath it that were, being held captive, hence saying that the Skrulls would take over them permanently as well. So the Fury and Sonya get close to some clever shit that goes on. They end up, taking out, literally Fury shoots Scrody in the fucking head.
Yeah.
And kills him, and they avoid the bombing. So that's part of it. The other part, though, which Jason had mentioned, was Gaia, disguised as Nick Fury, goes to where the machine is to kind of confront Gravik, plays it off as Fury. Now, my issues with this, a lot of my issues have to do with this part of the episode, because number one, they have Gravik and Fury, who's Gaia, have the conversation. Finally, we're supposed to find out exactly what the hell happened, why Fury didn't go ahead and get them a home. And there's an explanation that's given along the lines of like it was going to be too difficult and stuff and yada, 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 because we can yada, yada over it because it's not coming from Fury.
Yeah.
This is meaningless. This is Gaia just pretending and bullshitting. Yeah, exactly. And so it means nothing. But on the other hand, I actually liked Gravik's responses because he was being genuine. He was like, Fury, just why? Why didn't you do it? At the moment where he thinks he's going to finally kill this dude.
Yeah,
and that was weird to me.
I agree. And I'll give it to I like this actor who plays Gravik a lot. I think he does a great job because he says something like, about, how do you come to terms when your hero lets you down or something like that. Like it really does give a lot into the insight of like this relationship. But then, as you said, it's meaningless because it's not Nick Fury. And I knew at that point it wasn't Nick Fury. So I was kind of sitting there going, well, this is not going to be Nick Fury because we know. Here's the thing: if Nick Fury goes in there, like Nick Fury dies, and we know he's not going to die, as we've discussed, because he's all over the fucking Marvels trailer. So like maybe if he wasn't all over the Marvels trailer, and I still thought maybe Nick Fury this was going to be a swan song, I would have fallen for it. But knowing what I know about the future, I didn't. So it's like, so that what was supposed to be a powerful conversation is meaningless because it's not between the two people who needed to have it. Yeah.
And I thought it was Gravik's part had weight, but you're right. Ultimately gets undercut because it's Gaia who's there, who's disguised as Fury, and whatever the hell she's saying doesn't mean anything because she's riffing, so it doesn't matter. And Beza goes ahead and gives the harvest. She actually gives the harvest to Gravik, who checks it out, and we get a whole list of all the powers that are in it because it checks out. It's actually the harvest, and they're both in the machine, and it gives them the abilities of everyone. And they have this whole battle it out thing. using the powers of pretty much anyone and everyone in the MCU prior that ever had abilities. And that fight was kind of cool, but I think this solution. Well, actually, before I even get to that, at the end to end the fight, she punches a hole through Gravik that kills him, but he has Extremis. Why didn't that just heal up the hole?
I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't really like that.
No, that makes no sense to me. And then the other thing is
I mean, no. At that point, they both should be invincible, right? They're both fucking super scrolls with everyone's power, like the most powerful creatures in the fucking universe. Like, how does one get killed?
Yeah. So this scene, and then that Gravik is dead. Then, and Gaia walks away, basically as the most powered up, leveled up character in the entire MCU. Like, really has everyone's powers. I have a huge issue with that because I don't foresee the MCU realistically having Gaia as like the most powerful being that there is. Like, I'm just not buying that for 2 seconds. Like, I guarantee you in the next thing we see her in, she's either going to be dying from this, like her DNA, maybe there's no match and it kills her, or it slowly starts killing her, or something like that. There's going to be some way they're going to try to get out of it. I just don't understand the creative decision to give her these powers. It's dumb.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then, like, I don't know, maybe if their plan was, all right, we give her these powers, and then she goes off and gets the Skrulls off the planet and gets them their own home world. Okay, maybe if that's what they were going with, but they very clearly set up that Gaia and Sonya will be working together because the president pretty much declares fucking open war on the Skrulls now that he knows they're there, and people are just getting murdered, and so now like her and Sonya are going to work together, to sort of protect everyone's interest, and it's like, okay, so you're going to just be on planet Earth with all these powers. Why do you need to work with anyone? Just blink and fucking have your will done.
Yeah, it very much left me with a taste of the problem with heroes that a lot of people have, right? With Peter, Petrelli, and Sylar having all the abilities of everybody. So pretty much the other characters in the show were a complete waste of time. Like, that's kind of where this leaves me at. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
She ends up teaming up with Sonya. Sonya recruits her. They're going to do their thing. I thought the part about the president giving this speech on live TV and declaring war, open war on the Skrulls, that was interesting because we do see a little bit of there's vigilantes taking it into their own hands. They're murdering Skrulls. They're murdering people by accident that they think are Skrulls. That part I found interesting, but I'm just curious to see the follow-up on this. Like, the MCU's follow-up that this is happening out in the open. Like, in the Marvels, that should be what's happening. Yeah. But there is some setup, I believe.
But it doesn't look like it doesn't.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see that being actually followed up in the Marvels because the things that happen here is at the end of the episode, Nick Fury meets up with his wife, whose name we find out is Vara. She wants to go by her Skrull name now. And they finally answer the question of, does he love her or not, which was set up a couple of episodes ago. Or is it just the face that she put on? She turns into her form as she is. They have this kiss. They go off to the spaceship. He's going to go back up to Saber because he gets word from Saber that there's a Kree Skrull like peace treaty that's in the works. That I think we'll be setting up into the Marvels, and we'll get into that because we see a lot of Kree stuff that's being set up there. So you would assume that's where this is leading to, a brief lead up to that. And another huge talking point from this episode was Gaia, after her battle and she kills Gravik, she starts freeing the humans from their stasis in Russia underground, and she frees Rhodey as one of them, who's in like a gown, a hospital gown. And it has been confirmed by the director, earlier today. It's officially official that, yeah, Rhodey has been a Skrull since Civil War, since he was crippled.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What a baffling choice.
Yeah, so Infinity War, Endgame, that's Rhodey that whole time. So that also opens up other doors.
What's up? I don't like that at all. I think that's
no, I don't, because you get a lot of great moments before Tony dies, and in Avengers: Infinity War, and in Endgame that don't really have the same weight now because he was a Skrull, wasn't actually Rhodey.
Right, exactly, and it kind of erases any character development we've had of Rhodey since Civil War.
Yeah, now we're gonna see Rhodey in Armored Wars for sure now, and he's supposed to be dealing with a lot of enemies of Tony's, so we'll see where that goes because he's been out of the picture for a little while now.
Yeah, I got to admit, I think there's a lot of missteps in this last episode.
Yeah, I don't understand. They're weird choices. I mean, if you think back to Avengers Endgame, if you remember specifically, there's a scene with Nebula and Rhodey when they're going ahead and going to get the Power Stone, that they have this conversation where he even says something along the lines of like, this isn't always who I was. That kind of it could be seen as a breadcrumb. I mean, I didn't take it like that. But
no, I don't think, honestly, that was not an intentional breadcrumb.
No.
I would put money on the fact they did not plan that Rhodey was going to be a Skrull that far in advance.
But, though, in their defense, I will say, I can't say the specifics, but I know Kevin Feige did mention that when they spoke to Don Cheadle and recruited him to be in the MCU, they did mention that some of this was going to be a Skrull.
Okay.
So in their defense, though,
okay,
they did that did come out like a couple of weeks ago. So as to what times, I'm saying this is coming from Don Cheadle also, like him saying that he was excited about that, and I guess he played Rhodey differently at times, for that. Okay. So it's kind of interesting. I wonder if they're going to elaborate that more in Armored Wars or not. But
I mean, if they completely ignore the fact that Rhodey's been a Skrull this whole time in Armored Wars, I'm gonna have a big problem with that. The fact that Rhodey has been a Skrull and has been replaced needs to be a big part of fucking his character in Armored Wars. You don't just get to drop a bomb like this and do nothing with it.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they won't. I think that's probably going to be like, especially my guess is like the first half an hour of Armored Wars, we're going to get some of that. And it'll probably be a lot of like Rhodey catching up on what the hell's been happening. Remember, he has no knowledge of the blip. The last thing he remembers is Civil War.
Yeah, that's right.
It is interesting. I'll give it that. It's a weird decision, but I do think there's some interesting things you can do with it.
No, there is, but now I'm looking back. So like, wasn't he in? Like he was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and wasn't he a big part of trying to get Sam to take the shield?
Yeah, he was.
So now I want to know, what was the Skrull's interest in getting Sam to take the Cap shield? Because that had to be the Skrull's interest. He was a Skrull at that point.
No, I agree, but I do think that now that you bring it up, I do think there is a level of he has to play the part. Like he can't be outed and stuff like that. He has to maintain his ascension to get higher up in the government as it is, and he has to blend in and fool the people that he's around. So I can see some. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I can see some of that where, again, you have to kind of do the things so you don't go ahead and get outed. So
okay,
there is some of that.
Sense.
And that's probably why he would, again, take care of Tony and stuff. And you could say whatever, Skrull or not Skrull, there was an interest in defeating Thanos and saving the universe because the Skrulls would die as well.
That's true. No, that's very true.
And there are Skrulls that I'm sure that were also blipped and everything. So, common interest there. I guess overall, though, where does this leave your opinion of Secret Invasion, though? Because we were kind of enjoying this, and now you have the ending that leaves the bad taste in your mouth.
No, I mean, I liked everything up to this. So, I mean, I can't shit on the show because I didn't think it did a good job with the ending. You know, I still think it was a good show. I was engaged for the first 5 episodes. I was really into what was going on. You know, I don't think it, again, as we just said, I don't think it ended as well as it could have, but I can't say that it makes me dislike the show.
Yeah, I think that it's going to knock it down a couple of notches for me because I thought it was going to be like in my favorite MCU shows, but shitting the bed at the end, I don't know. It's not good. Yeah,
no, it's not.
It's not good. And it sucks. It's a bummer because I think there were a lot of good acting performances in this. I thought there were some just odd creative choices, mainly at the end.
Yeah.
Mainly at the end. Like, you almost just didn't know how to end this thing.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I don't know, maybe it is because they have to, I mean, yeah, they end this, but they still have to set up for what's coming next, and they still have to leave threads. So I don't know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they were trying to juggle, you know, setting up the future and resolving the present, and it just got away from them.
Yeah, my main question was because I think with Fury, it's pretty clear cut. Yes, he's going to go back to space. You know, it looks like he's just going into the Marvels. But I just dying to know what the hell you're doing with Gaia. What was this set up for?
I don't know, because again, like, are they going to is she going to be running missions like with Sonya? And if so, like, again, she's a god. Like,
yeah,
I kind of fritzed out when we were talking about the battle. So I don't know if you mentioned this. If you did, I apologize. But like, you know, they mentioned like, oh, Ebony Maw, this and that, and then we see one of them fucking do an Ebony Maw sweep, and then we see out of Gaia, Mantis's powers come out, and he like puts her to sleep, and it's like, okay, so this isn't like Talos, because they make that thing, right? Oh, it's like Talos and Fury. And then Sonya's like, except we're not going to become friends, you see. We're using each other. Which I thought was that was a cool interchange. But
yeah.
But the whole thing is like, no, it's not the same as Talos and Fury, because Talos was a shapeshifter, not a god with every powers of anyone who ever fucking got it in the MCU. It's like, so no, this is a bit different. And to be honest with you, I don't want to see that show, because I don't understand, like, what am I going to see? I'm going to see a god and a CIA operative work together? I could go watch fucking Dr. Manhattan and Watchmen if I wanted to see something that grim.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious to know what the hell that part was all about. It's kind of baffling. So, a disappointing ending to what was a solid show.
Yeah.
You know, in the end. All right, so let's drop that spoiler warning and get to our movie of the week. For those who have been following along with us, we are going through the Michael Bay era of Transformers movies, and that has brought us to Transformers: Age of Extinction, the 4th film in his 5-film run. Doesn't get any better. For me, I mean, even though and Jason, I give you full credit for it, Sam Witwicky is completely out of the picture. I have to say it like that every single time now.
Sam Witwicky is gone.
Yeah, he's gone. You know, who knows? He's going off with his, overly hot girlfriend who's out of his league, and maybe has another one by now. Who knows? He's completely out of the picture in this. Substituted in, we get a Cade Yeager, played by Mark Wahlberg now.
Mark Wahlberg. Yo, bro, I'm an inventor. I invent things, bro. I'm Cade Yeager.
He is an inventor. Arguably the worst inventor ever, because he has to tell everyone and their mother throughout the film that he is an inventor.
He tells everyone. He
doesn't invent anything, really. He doesn't actually invent anything.
No, bro. I invented 1,000 ways to keep my daughter a virgin, bro. Yo, Ed, are you thinking about fucking my daughter? Because don't think about fucking my daughter. It's important she's a virgin to me, Ed. It's important.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's rough. There's just different human problems again. The same shit with the last couple, but just different human problems. Kate Yeager's a shitty inventor, played by Mark Wahlberg, whose entire story arc throughout the film is that her race car driving boyfriend doesn't get in her pants. And that doesn't go away. It goes throughout all the action scenes and everything.
Everything. Like, we have taken out all of the Witwicky family and all of the dog humping, and we have put in this weird Puritan, don't fuck my daughter, bro, throughout. They have multiple. The father, Cade Yeager, and the race car boyfriend, they have the same conversation over and over until the end when Cade's like, all right, bro, take care of her for life. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess if you're going to get in there, I mean...
Bro, if I can't stop you, then... By the way, Cade Yeager, right? He's from Texas, right?
Yeah, bro, I'm from Texas. I'm an inventor from Texas.
Doesn't sound very Texan to me. I mean, we didn't get any kind of backstory that says he moved there from somewhere else. I guess we're supposed to help it out and say, yeah, I moved from Boston, and I'm down here in Texas now.
Yo, the stars are bright and they're big at night, bro. Deep in the heart of Texas. See? I got it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's a lot of the thing that weighs this movie down for me. The Transformers part of this film is... All right, so all jokes aside, the Transformers part of this film I was somewhat on board with in the beginning, and of course it shits itself and goes to insanity eventually.
The move is this, right? This is what this movie should have been. Because I'm going to argue that though this movie is shit and incompetent, it is better than the last two and more competent than the last two. And here's it. Here's why I'm going to say this. Because there is a movie somewhere here. We didn't see it, but it's somewhere here. There was no movie in the last two. Nowhere buried in that pile of fucking rubble.
I mean, you're not going to get any argument from me about Revenge of the Fallen, because Revenge of the Fallen, I mean, the only positive thing I had to say about it was the soundtrack.
It's true.
I couldn't think of one other positive thing to say. I didn't have that much more to say about Dark of the Moon, but, hey. Well, whatever. Age of Extinction, pretty much the premise in the beginning of the movie is humans essentially hate all Transformers now because of, this is the Battle of Chicago is what they're calling what happened in Dark of the Moon, and they're pretty much being banned. But some of the Autobots were granted asylum here. So
but not really.
I was a little confused about that part. And then the CIA has a section of that. It was a Black Ops team who was supposed to be hunting down Decepticons again, which they were doing with Nest, who Nest has been since disbanded at this point.
Yes.
And they are hunting down Autobots instead. And I guess nobody knows the difference between the two.
Well, I think the thing is so the head of the team is Bosch, and his boss is fucking Kelsey Grammer.
Yes.
Keeping in the tradition of bizarre actors to bring into these. And the thing is, I think Kelsey Grammer knows the difference, and he doesn't care.
I agree. No, he knows the difference.
Bosch
but apparently no one else does. Yeah, but outside of them.
Yeah, but I think the team is their team specifically picked to hunt, so I don't think the team cares.
Yeah.
And I think the implication is that the president doesn't know that they're hunting the Autobots. They're kind of just fudging the numbers. So I don't think it's that no one knows, on the team. It's everyone is corrupt on the team, and they're feeding misinformation up the pike.
No, I'm with you on that. What I meant is, outside of that. So it's hey, nobody outside of this team knows the difference that about what's going on here. Is it?
Yeah, it's that. You're right.
Well, because they hunt down Ratchet, who hasn't had a line since the first movie until this movie, when he gets murdered brutally.
Yeah.
In this, and yeah, Bosch over there, which we'll call him that. He goes ahead and he had family members who died in the Battle of Chicago. So he's just like, fuck all Transformers. We don't give a shit. But we're working with one anyway to get the seed, so we can have the seed who can give us a bunch of transformium, which is the metal that the Transformers are made out of, that allows them to essentially shift into whatever the fuck they want. You can make anything, as long as you make it out of this metal, you can transform object B to object, A or C or whatever it is, and that's it. So they want that, and they're working with a big company called KSI, which Stanley Tucci is the head of, and is working with Kelsey Grammer because he's gonna retire, and he's gonna give him a percentage of his company, and they're gonna invent this and pretty much sell it to the world, and they're gonna be gazillionaires and whatever the hell, and that's basically their game plan. But they need to work to get this seed. They work with this bounty hunter called Lockdown, who's a Transformer himself, who apparently was sent by the creators of the Transformers to hunt down Optimus Prime, because Optimus Prime is one of a group of, he's a knight now. I don't know where the fuck this came from.
I don't know, but the dude pulls a fucking sword in this movie, and I was sitting there going, when the hell in the entire run of the cartoon did Optimus Prime pull his sword out?
Yeah, I don't know. I know, like, the arms will sometimes change into weapons and whatever, and I can go with that. But this is nothing. This is insanity.
Arm didn't turn into a sword. I would have been fine with that. That's part of the powers. He pulled out a sword independent of his transforming body, implicating he's been having this sword the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. He pulls out the sword, and yeah, he ends up freeing other captives because he gets captured on Lockdown ship, and he's going to escape the atmosphere, and then the other random Autobots, which I don't know where the fuck they came from, or this whole new group he has, Hound, who's voiced by John Goodman.
Why? Like, seriously, Michael Bay is the fucking devil. And for some reason, the devil had a hard-on to make really terrible Transformers movies, and to make sure he kept getting sequels, he started pulling in all of the contracts of Hollywood. That's the only explanation I can accept about the amount of talent in this piece of shit movie.
Yeah, it's baffling. So, yeah, the other Autobots who go and save him off there, and then somehow Lockdown doesn't realize this is happening, and they have an entire separate secret ship that they go ahead, and he frees these other captors. Part of them were the Dinobots, or it's supposed to be the Dinobots, and for the third act of the movie, once they're freed by Prime, he beats Grimlock into submission to help him, and wants to ride him into battle?
Why?
What?
Why were the Dinobots in this? And then, inexplicably, because I texted you about this, and I really want to know the answer to this. At the end of this movie, Prime goes, "You're free now, Dinobots," and the Dinobots walk off into the sunset. The Earth sunset. What's the fucking future of these Dinobots? Because I don't think, like, the Autobots, they're going to spend their life pretending to be shitty, rusty cars so they don't get killed. These things are going to rip people's faces off.
Yeah, I don't understand, because we learned in the beginning of the movie that apparently the extinction of the dinosaurs was the Transformers, or, whatever that wipes them out. So they took the form of some living beings. And that is only there to set up the Dinobots' existence at the end of the movie?
It's so like if this movie was an hour and a half, it's centered completely on the retrieval of the Autobots, and you could still have, look, I know Bay's got to jerk off the fucking military shit. It's got to be in there. Fine, keep some of the military shit, but completely get rid of that Galvatron shit.
Oh, I was about to get to that. That was next on my checklist.
Good. Yeah, let's get into it.
So, KSI gets some dead Decepticons, and that's why they start moving on to the Autobots, because they want to harvest this Transformium and do all of that. Okay, they want to make their own Transformers. That's without a soul and stuff like that. And they take part of Megatron, and they build what they're calling Galvatron. And it turns out like he's supposed to be like a knockoff of Prime because that's why he forms into a truck. But they used Megatron, and Stinger is supposed to be a knockoff essentially of Bumblebee, and then you get a weird scene with that too. But then secretly, Megatron was using the KSI as puppets to just give him a new body so he can be revived. And they have a brief battle with Prime of Galvatron and Prime. And that's basically you see Galvatron at the end of the movie, and he's like, "I'll get you next time, Prime." And that's it.
And then he looks at his watch and he goes, "Oh shit, I got theater tickets. See you guys next movie."
I gotta go. I'll get you next time. And we don't know next time because we haven't seen Last Night, which we're gonna watch. We'll see if any of this gets followed up on.
I don't know. Well, this movie literally ends with Prime fucking blasting off into space going, "I'm going to find new creators and I am going to kill your family." Like, I mean, pretty much. Is that followed up in the next movie?
I mean, the next movie is called The Last Night. So I'm going to assume that that's all this was setting up.
But I do know for a fact.
I don't know.
I do know for a fact that, like, this next movie, like, it's called The Last Night because it fucks with Arthurian legend.
But now, and I don't want to spend too much time theorizing on this because we're going to watch it.
Oh, God,
Prime is a knight. He was one of the last knights of the creators. So I'm assuming there's a tie-in with both.
Okay. You're right.
Knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Look, honestly, this might have nothing to do with knights at all. This might just be this. They might just have done Harold and Kumar go to White Castle with fucking Cade Yeager and Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee is fucking the pervy Doogie Howser. I don't know, because nothing in these movies makes sense.
So other things I wanted to touch on with this movie. So this is a movie where we get Optimus
don't touch
Prime.
My daughter, bro. Don't touch on my daughter.
No. There's no touching on that. So Optimus Prime, I want to start with him. He does threaten to murder everyone in KSI at one point. He threatens to murder all of the creators when he gets to them. He is a bloodthirsty Optimus Prime in this movie.
He threatens to murder Cade Yeager's family when they revive him, and they still inexplicably help him because it was in the script.
And they basically say that.
Yes.
They basically say that without saying that. And Prime murders Fraser.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes,
he murders Fraser. And yes, I'm going to phrase it like that on purpose to make it sound completely insane. Because it's not totally insane. If I showed you the video, you would see Optimus Prime shooting fucking Fraser in the head.
That was awesome, actually.
That was bonkers. And Hound wants to murder in every single scene and asks his Prime for permission to just wipe out humans every single scene he's in, and has a metal cigar that is lit that he throws away and reappears, and he has this weird dangling facial hair.
That's so off-putting. Oh,
what?
God, it was so uncomfortable to look at.
It was bizarre.
And then, like, there's that scene, because in every Michael Bay Transformers, there's got to be an action sequence where I can't fucking tell what's going on. But at the end, we're like, we're going to fight to the end. We're going to fight to the end. We're going to fight to the end. Nah, tank's empty, brother. And he lays down. And Cade's like, yo, bro, you got to get up. They're going to kill us. Well, all right, you're right. And it's like, why? Why did you just eat up valuable screen time with that?
And that's part of the issue with these movies, that there's so much wasted time on nothing, which is really what it's one of the biggest issues with it. I mean, I still stand by making movies that are boring about transforming huge robots is the biggest crime of all with these movies. The second is that it's just there's so much wasted time in his runtimes. It's bonkers.
And it's on display here. This is again such a bloated movie that I think we could have whittled it down to an hour and a half and had a decent movie.
Yeah. We also got another Autobot named Drift, who is voiced by the great Ken Watanabe.
Was that really him?
Yeah, that was him. The second I heard the voice, I knew. I was like, I just needed to hear him say, "Let them fight." Why do we have a samurai Autobot out of nowhere?
I don't know, but oh no, I do know. I'm sorry, I texted you about that. It's because we need to keep the racism in Transformers.
Yes.
You can't spell Transformers without racism for some reason.
It's they're just baffling decisions made in this. It's just the same issues over and over again.
So I am gonna make an argument that one thing this movie does more competently than the last two is its cast. Okay, because yes, it's baffling that we get Fraser and Bosch and Stanley Tucci, but Fraser and Bosch and Stanley Tucci all have some impact on the fucking plot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the Dark of the Moon, like one of the things we discussed is, okay, great, you've given me Frances McDormand, who I could lift out of this movie and nothing changes. The same with the boss, right? I forget, Malkovich. Like, so at least they've given us a cast of inexplicable people who don't belong in this movie, but their characters do something.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I guess you need someone to be the head of KSI if they're going to be involved in this film. Then all of a sudden, by the way, Stanley Tucci's character also randomly wants to bang his assistant out of nowhere.
Oh, what? I mean, because no, that's not that. I'm sorry, that makes sense because on Michael Bay's planet, hot chicks get fucked. I mean, that's this is a sorority planet or a frat planet. I don't know.
Yeah, I got no words, man. I
and
don't know. John Goodman, Stanley Tucci.
I mean, again, at least they're doing something.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Ken Watanabe, I guess I can somewhat excuse because he was in the first two Godzilla movies, so
yeah,
big kaiju type things. I mean, he's been involved with otherwise. So, and I think this was before that.
Was it?
I believe so. I think it was before the first Godzilla. I might be wrong.
Okay, no, I don't know the timeline.
No, or maybe around the same time. I don't know. Yeah, again, this doesn't work for me on any level.
No.
No. Am I glad that the Witwicky family is gone? Sure. Do I prefer the Jaeger family instead? Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, are they less annoying?
No,
not really.
This is why I prefer the Jaeger family. Ready? Okay. Bro, because Wahlberg's an impression. Sam Witwicky, all I can do is Sam Witwicky. And I really only get so much juice out of that one. Bro, I could do this all day now.
That's fair. Well, we traded it, move it this way. With that part of it, we traded in Bumblebee for bro. Don't bang my daughter, bro.
Yo, hey, B, you looking at my daughter? Hey, I don't want you to put look, I think you're good and vibrating the seat there. You might break a hymen. You're going to ruin her on the market, bro. She's got to be pure. Got to be virginal, bro.
Hey, Optimus Prime, say hello to your mother for me. Yeah. Like, before he flew away, then he definitely could have dropped that in there. He was going to see his creators. I mean, technically, yes.
I will say hello with a vengeance.
And by the way, before he leaves, too, Prime is like, yeah, I'm going to go on this mission. Autobots, protect the family.
Yeah. Take the family now.
That's their job.
But no, I even my favorite thing wrap up wise, it's just how we very quickly and easily fix the family's money problems, which was a big thing in the beginning. Because we're gonna lose the farm, bro. People are coming on my property. Black people coming on my property, and they're showing my house to people. Yo, bro, this is Texas. I got a gun. But no, because this whole scene where like a woman comes and she's a real estate agent and they're about to evict. But like at the end, the daughter goes, let's go home, bro. And the daughter goes, we have no home. They foreclosed. And Tucci goes, I'll fix that. And that's it. That's done.
No, doesn't she say they literally blew it up?
Oh, maybe they literally blew it up. Yeah.
Well, she wasn't wrong. I was like, well, good. Somebody remembers what happened at the beginning of this movie.
True. But I just love that the payoff to that is Stanley Tucci just going, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
He literally just says that. I'll take care of that.
Right now, I'm just curious to know if going into the next movie do they follow up on anything that was set up besides Prime? I'm assuming, obviously, that will be followed up on, because if it doesn't, I mean...
Like I need to know if the race car driver fucked the girlfriend. That's what I need to know. That was the biggest thing I was really invested in was Cade Yeager's daughter's virginity. Which, by the way, I find that creepy. Like dads who obsess over their adult daughter's fucking sex life. It's real creepy.
We can't wrap this up without commenting on that. By the way, so you saw the scene I referred to last week, right? Where they had to explain the Romeo and Juliet law, which I don't even know if it's real or not.
It is.
I didn't want to look it up. I didn't want to.
I had to know. I looked it up. But what the Romeo and Juliet law is actually, it's not like, I don't know how they say it here, but it's like if you're 18 and she's 16, like you're not going to be put on a sex offender list. Like that's
it has to be pre-existing.
It has to be pre-existing, and you have to be within 2 years of each other, and I guess that's because like if you meet your high school sweetheart at 16 and she's 15, at some point you're going to be doing something illegal, and so like I needed to know that it wasn't as creepy as they made it sound, which is why
they made it sound very creepy.
They did. It's not as creepy as that. It's not like, yo, bro, it's a fuck my daughter law. No, it's more to protect people who are around the same age.
Okay, so whatever. All right, so but the fact that the script writer and Michael Bay had to look this up for some reason to explain this. Why is this a scene and why is this a through line of this film?
I don't. Yeah, because literally he says like, "Oh, you're over 18. She's 17, bro. I'm gonna get you thrown in jail," and then that's why they like. Why does this conversation have to be there?
I don't know, because I thought this was a movie about Transformers.
Right. I mean, at least have one of the Transformers trying to fuck his daughter. At least it gets him in the mix.
Well, we learned in Revenge of the Fallen, apparently, in this universe, that Transformers can turn into human beings. So you're right. I guess that's not that far off.
I mean, why not?
Well, Jason, there's one more left. This is it. The end is near, it is in sight. We have it for this one last time. We got one more go around. I'm sure it's probably 9 hours.
It has to be. Look, even when these movies are 3 hours, they're 9 hours.
Yes.
I had to watch this over the course of 3 days. I could not sit for. I wouldn't do it to myself. Just sit for 3 hours and watch this straight.
Yeah, I was gonna almost run into a complication because I got my free 7-day trial of Paramount Plus for Dark of the Moon and for this, and I went to cancel it, and they were like, "Hey, how about 2 more free months?"
Wow.
I was like, "Yes," because I was like, I have to finish this because I'm gonna have to watch The Last Night, and also the 2 Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtle movies are on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Produced, not directed. Produced.
Here's the thing. I've seen both of those. I know what I'm getting into.
Okay.
That first one is dreadful, but I don't think it's certainly not as dreadful as any of the shit I've watched for this Transformers run. And the second one I think is kind of fun.
Yeah, and I listen. I remember seeing the first one and thinking it was okay, and then the second one I saw on a plane, so I wasn't really focused on it. But I know Stephen Amell is Casey Jones, so. Yeah. I remember when I heard that casting, that kind of piqued my interest. Plus, I will say something. Michael Bay produced stuff because he produces apparently an insane amount of stuff. Not the same as Michael Bay directed.
No.
They're not one and the same because he produced a lot of shit that I actually like Jack Ryan on Prime Video. He's actually a producer on that. He produced the latter Ninja Turtle movies, which we'll see how I end up reacting to those. He produced the reboot of Friday the 13th, which I am a defender of. And unfortunately produced the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, which I despise.
No, that's bad. That's borderline unwatchable.
Horrible. I saw it once in the theater and I never wanted to go back again. Ever.
I only saw it once, and it was when I did my comprehensive deep dive of Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I kind of have to.
Yeah.
And then I did, and I went, wow. I never have to do that again.
And you know, like Freddy's my guy. Out of the slashers, Freddy's the guy. Love Freddy Krueger. Yeah, I had to watch it, and I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck is this?
Well, the thing is, and I'm glad here's the thing. I'm glad they made that movie because it taught them an important lesson, and it saved us a lot of heartache in the future. Is that Nightmare on Elm Street isn't a franchise you can do without Robert Englund. Robert Englund is Freddy. No one else can step in that. Then that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. We can save that for another time, but I agree. I think that was the main lesson that was in there. And also, it's like, hey, the original movies glossed over him as a filthy child murderer. Leave it at that.
Yeah,
it's a vague reference. We don't need in-depth.
I don't need to see the molestation.
Yeah, that's what they showed in that, and I was like,
nah, I was
no
out.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm like, I had, and I'm not saying this wasn't crazy, that I had a poster of this dude on my wall as a kid in my room. And yeah, I know it is a little nuts, but yeah, once you show me that, now I'm good. That poster would have came down, and I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right, so thanks for joining us as always. We appreciate the support. If you joined us on the Facebook live stream, check out Granny's Peach Tea Facebook group. There's a lot of cool stories and trailers and shit that does not make the show, so check that out. It's a lot of fun. Also check out Pop Culture Pros, because that's represented by Pop Culture Pros and popculturepros.com. YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. Twitter, follow at Pop Culture Pros. And wherever you found your audio-only podcast, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. There's a lot of other cool, exciting stuff on the network, from baseball to overall sports, Disney World, things of that nature. So check it all out. We will be back next week. So we'll have a new episode of Harley Quinn.
Yeah, we will.
We will have the last installment of the Transformers live action during the Bay Run, the last night. We will hopefully have another adventure of Jason's Adventures with Superman.
I believe it's coming back the 4th, so I believe
yeah.
I've just got to stay up late enough to watch it, which it's the summer, so that won't be a problem.
Yeah, I'll catch it on Friday morning. Screw that. I mean, whatever. And also next week, though, Jason, we're going to do this. DC's Superpowered.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. That's on Netflix, or no? It's
on Max.
Max.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it's a 3-part documentary on the history of DC Comics. So honestly, I'm kind of excited for that. It's pretty. I looked at it as DC's kind of. I know they were made at the same time. Their answer to the Stan Lee documentary that we covered. So.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because I know less about DC than I do Marvel. So, like, I knew a lot of that Marvel stuff. I don't know how much of this DC stuff I'm going to know. So I'm excited too.
Yeah, so that'll be cool to check out. And then after that, we begin Ninja Turtles. We'll start with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem and work our way back through the theatrical releases of that, interrupted briefly by Blue Beetle, because that will be coming out at some point during that run. So, I don't know. We'll be moving. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So,
light at the end of the tunnel.
Light at the end of the tunnel. One more, Jason. One more. We can do this.
Yeah, we got this. Look at, if we gone this far, we just got 9 more hours left.
As Imagine Dragons said, no one's going to save us now.
That's why I renounce him. I renounce you, Kal-El.
All right. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Yo, don't